This is George Dionne with Metal Express Radio, and I'm here with Alex Beyrodt of Voodoo Circle. I screwed your name up again, Alex.
Hey, how are you? Hey, you got my last name right.
You're also a member of Primal Fear, and today we're promoting the new release by Voodoo Circle. If I knew absolutely nothing about Voodoo Circle, how would you describe the band's music to me?
Voodoo Circle is, if you like bands like Rainbow, Deep Purple, Led Zeppelin, Jimi Hendrix, and Whitesnake, then give this band a try.
Absolutely, and we mentioned before we started recording that you're not trying to reinvent the wheel with Voodoo Circle. You're just trying to pretty much, put your spin on the stuff that you kind of appreciate and admired throughout the 70s.
Absolutely. Voodoo Circle was never meant to reinvent the wheel. We wanted to play the music we grew up with, and that's basically the bands I mentioned. Absolutely,
and I think a lot of people, I don't want to age you, but I think a lot of people in our age group, probably 40s, enjoy that kind of music.
I wish.
40s, 50s. I'm in my 40s. Let's talk about the new album. Locked and Loaded comes out January 15th, 2021. You got David Readman back on vocals. How did he leave in the beginning, and how did he come back?
Well, actually, he left with an email. I remember that very clearly. I just landed at JFK, New York, and I went on tour with Primal Fear for 5 weeks all over the U.S. And the first thing you do after you touch ground is you open your iPhone, right, and you check emails. And so there's this email. Alex, I'm sorry to tell you, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what? It came totally out of the blue. I had no idea. And then we didn't talk about it. We didn't have any contact. I had no idea why he left the band. And 4 years later, we spoke on the phone, and after 5 minutes, it was totally clear that he has to rejoin the band and that we want to play music again together. I think he was in a phase of his life where he needed to do some changes. He relocated to the Netherlands. He got married. So his whole life changed. And probably leaving the band was some part of it. But now he's back, and I couldn't be happier. Herbie did a great job, and nothing wrong with Herbie. He was so cool. When I called him to tell him the bad news, which is not nice. It's not easy,
Right.
They don't like them, right? It's like, anyway, when I called him up and told him the bad news, he was like, "Oh, Alex, you know what? Actually, this is kind of cool. Now I have another band I can be a fan of." So this was his answer. What a cool reaction, right?
Absolutely.
And so at this point, I couldn't be happier to have David and also Marcus, the German John Bonham, back in the band.
Let's talk a little bit about the songs that you've released from the album thus far. You got one of the singles released as Locked and Loaded. What's kind of the meaning behind that song?
Oh, actually, Locked and Loaded is a party song. I wanted to write a song where you can dance to, and if Locked and Loaded would have been released in the early 80s, I think it would be the dance floor hit in every rock disco. And this was the intention behind the song, behind the lyrics, just having a good time, dance, groove, smile, get drunk, get laid. Can I say that?
Of course you can.
All this, the good old days.
That's right.
Bring back the good old days.
Let's talk about Devil with an Angel Smile. Is that about someone you knew, or is there another story behind it?
Well, I think there are plenty of guys out there. They have been once in their lifetime together with a devil with an angel smile. Sometimes you are in a toxic relationship, And this is the meaning behind Devil with an Angel Smile.
I think the number one question that fans would have about this song, or the video in particular, is who is the girl featured in the video?
I have no idea.
Oh, they didn't even tell you.
I have no idea. Yeah, this crazy times we live in, right? You have all this Corona bullshit and all these restrictions, and then there's a video and you haven't even met the girl.
I guess I'll have to call the record company to get clarification on that one.
Yeah, and there will be another video in a couple of days, so watch out for that.
Which one's coming next?
Locked and Loaded, the second single, was actually, it's already released. It was released last Friday, but the video wasn't ready. It wasn't ready to go.
I gotcha.
And so we had to reshoot some scenes, and I probably by the end of the week it will be ready and released.
Do you know everybody that's involved in the video this time around?
Only by internet. Not in personal. Well, I know the guys, right?
Yeah, there you go, yeah.
Yeah, I know the guys, but there's also a dancing model in the video, but I have no idea. I saw pictures. It was quite okay.
It met your approval.
Yeah, approved by me. Absolutely.
I mean, obviously you like all the songs from the album. What are a couple of the ones that, are more your favorites, I would say?
It's wasting time because I spent so much time on that song. I even did the intro for the demo here, the keyboards and everything, and Corbin redid them wonderful. But all the melodies, all the effects, it was my idea. And I wrote this song, and then I had this music for the chorus, but I had no idea about a melody. I was totally stuck. And I remember when David was here in my studio and we started working on the stuff, and he came up with this chorus, with this melody, and I'm like, fuck, David, this is exactly what the song needed. Because it is a great mix between a 70s Led Zeppelin stylish song with a Pink Floyd intro, but a wonderful mainstream chorus. you can play it actually in the radio, right?
Excellent. You went to Jacob Hansen for the mixing and mastering of this album. It seems to be he's the go-to guy in Germany these days. What did he bring to the process?
Well, he lifted the songs into a different league. I really have to say that. Jacob Hansen is a master. He's I can only praise his name. He's really unbelievable. He's so professional. He has such great taste. His ears, his studio, his equipment, his personality. The guy is, to me, he's the absolute number one. And he takes your music and your recordings and audio files, and I don't know how he does that, but he puts some kind of magic on it. It's the magic touch of Jacob Hansen.
I agree. I mean, I've listened to quite a few albums that he's worked on, and he's got something going on there. He's just got to expand beyond Europe, I'd say. Like to see him do some American band stuff.
Yeah. The great thing is, usually he works with more heavier bands.
Right.
He also mixed our last album, and he told me he really enjoys to do our kind of music because it's so different. All the dynamics, different sounds, and to him to mix this is also a challenge, and he really enjoys it. So it's great. I love working with the guy.
So there's probably no chance of touring on this album? I don't know how things are over where you're at right now.
The last time I've been on stage was with Alice Cooper in Berlin in March.
Yeah.
That That was the last time I've been on stage. I think the next time I'm on stage will probably be March in 2022.
You might be right on that.
No, really. Maybe if we are lucky, we can do some festivals by the end of fall, autumn 21.
Yep.
That would be great. But at the moment, I have no idea.
I don't think anybody does. I mean, I see guys lining up dates for next year, but I'm not even sure that's going to come through. You have this other thing going on, Rock Meets Classic tour.
Yeah.
You have these every year. It's sort of like your backing band and classic rock stars with set to an orchestra. How did this idea come together?
Oh, well, Rock Meets Classic, that's the dream of every musician who loves classic rock. It was, the idea is from Matt Sinner.
Yep.
And the promoter. The promoter, his name is Manfred. And Matt, they are longtime friends. Manfred was the first manager of Sinner, the band.
Right.
And he had birthday. I think his 50th birthday. And Matt was there. And I think Bobby Kimball was there from Toto. And probably they had some drinks. And Matt and Bobby Kimball and some other guys started jamming. And at the end of the jam, Manfred and Matt had the idea about doing something together and do something completely new. And that's the moment when Rock Meets Classic was born. And I'm lucky to be in the band and to play with guys like I just said, Alice Cooper, Ian Gillan, Steve Lukather, Paul Rodgers, Chris Thompson, Steve Walsh, Mitch Ewer, Joe Lynn Turner, Don Felder, Rick Springfield. It's unbelievable. I mean, I'm doing this since 10 years now.
Yep.
And to be on stage with all these guys is amazing. It's an arena tour.
Yep.
With Germany, and I mean, come on. Every guitar player can play Smoke on the Water, but I play it with Ian Gillan. I have to. It's a joke, but it's really amazing, and it's so much fun.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I mean, you get to play with the heroes you grew up with. I mean, I've seen a couple of the videos. It's great. Everybody's having a good time. The arrangements are great. I've only seen stuff on YouTube. Do you guys release DVDs of these concerts?
No. That's really difficult because of all the different management.
Oh, yeah.
Record companies and publishing companies, and I mean, those guys is like the legends, like rock royalty. And to do something with their managers, and it's not that easy.
Right. I would imagine so.
Yeah.
Also, earlier this year, you released an album with Primal Fear, Metal Commando. How do you manage your time between the two bands?
Well, I have no idea. I just do it. I just function. I think it's every time when I'm with Primal Fear, I wear the Primal Fear hat. When I'm with Voodoo Circle, I wear the Voodoo Circle hat.
Yeah.
And when I drive my Corvette, I drive a Corvette. It's like driving a car. I get the question. Many people always ask me, how can you change from this band to that band, from that style of music to this style? But it's actually like driving a car. It's driving a car, no matter if it's a Ferrari or a Hyundai or a BMW or a Corvette. It's driving a car, and every car is different, but it's driving a car. So, yeah. That's how I look at it.
I think that a lot of people get tied up in genres of music. I don't understand it myself. Like, I'm a fan of different styles of rock and roll, whether it's metal, hard rock, melodic, blues, whatever it is. I like different styles. So I can understand where a guy like you wants to play different styles.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's also a challenge, and it makes you better as a musician and also as a guitar player. And when I practice and rehearse for Rock Meets Classic, I mean, everybody knows Smoke on the Water and Highway Star and Africa of Toto and All Right Now from Free but when you play those songs with the original singers, you really have to play it right and not just improvising something.
Right.
And it's the same with Primal Fear. Heavy metal, power metal, it is very important that this kind of music is played precise, very, very precise. And you have to play it every night the same. Otherwise, this music doesn't sound good. And that's the key behind it. And with Voodoo Circle, there is a lot of space where you can improvise. And I'm the only guitar player, so I can basically do whatever I want.
So I read that you're not a big fan of streaming music services such as Spotify and Apple Music and the like. I can understand that as an artist because it kind of shrinks the revenue that comes in. Do you think that there's a way to kind of reverse this? Because it seems very popular.
No, I don't think so. That ship has sailed. And the problem is there's no revenue. There's nothing. If you sell if you have 1 million streams, you get like $60. Now it's like, what? It's that business is gone, and that to me it's a huge problem. It's not right and it's not fair. The guys from Spotify, they are rich millionaires. The owner of Spotify probably just bought his second island, and is laughing about every musician he can rip off. Really, it's a shame. But well, what can you do?
I think there's fault in the record labels as well for buying into all this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I agree. But this whole business is totally, in German I would say, im Arsch. You probably get that.
I do. I would say, the way that the model has changed is that, you used to go on tour to sell an album. Now you're putting out an album to sell the tour.
Yeah.
Which you can't do right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which means there's no income this year. Yeah, and I had no income this year. I'm living from what I have on my account, but well, not any longer.
Yeah, it's true.
Not much left.
You do have a company that makes guitar parts called Guitar Slinger Products.
Hey, you make your homework.
I did. Did you start this because you couldn't find parts for your guitar?
No, I started this 12 years ago, I think, or 11 years ago. I just had, as a guitar player, you like guitars, and I collect guitars. And I wanted to have a business which can give me an income whenever I'm not on tour. And so I met this Japanese guy from Montreux. That's the name of the company, Montreux Parts. And we started to talk, and I thought, hey, maybe I should give it a try. And I bought a couple of pick guards from him, and I put it on eBay, and I sold all of them in 3 days. Yeah. And so I thought, okay, maybe this is a business. This could be a business. And so this is how I all started, and now I have like 4,000 different parts for all kinds of guitars. And and my customers are guitar players, which is kind of cool. From player to player, that's my motto.
Exactly. I enjoyed your work with Silent Force in the 2000s. Has Voodoo Circle pretty much replaced Silent Force?
Yeah, I would say so. I'm not saying that I won't record another album with Silent Force, because I have enough material written already. But the time has to be right, and let's see. I mean, sure, it would be great to get together with DC Cooper from Pittsburgh, and do, with the original lineup and do something. But I don't know at this point. Let's see. But never say never.
Exactly. It seems like every musician that's hunkered down is writing and working on projects and sending things back and forth via the internet. I mean, you've got Voodoo Circle releasing Locked and Loaded January 15th, 2021. You had Metal Commando by Primal Fear come out in 2020. Are there any other projects that you're working on right now?
I'm working on my handicap. I started playing golf again. Yeah, I started playing golf again. I'm working on my handicap. And actually, I'm very interested in motocross. Motocross sport.
Yep.
Yeah. Actually, nobody knows that, but before I started playing guitar, I was driving racing motocross. I was very young and very bad, but now in my mid-40s.
Yes.
Yeah, which is not true, but and through this pandemic, I started to be interested in that sports again, and there is a racetrack just around the corner where I live, and so it looks like I will be on the racetrack next year when the weather is better, and gonna give it another try.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, you're just chilling and relaxing when you're not doing music. That's awesome.
Well, I try.
And I noticed that you mentioned it before, and I noticed it on your web pages. You got that sweet Corvette. Is it a C6?
I just wanted to say that. I just wanted to say, when you said, are you just relaxing and I want to say, yeah, and I enjoy my new car. Yeah. I bought a C6, and it's all black. Actually, this is a childhood dream. I mean, of course, when I was a child, the C6 wasn't on the market. It was the C3. But when I was, I think, like 7 years old, I saw this car for the very first time, and this was my childhood dream. And this year, as a musician, you have no income this year, and so I buy a Corvette. This is what you do. You know?
Right.
Just spend your money on stupid things. But, no, honestly, it's I'm so in love with this car. It's the best decision ever made. And, yeah, what a car. It's unbelievable. Have you ever driven one?
No, that's a little out of my price range.
Well, here in Germany, we don't have a speed limit on some parts of the Autobahn, of the highway. Jesus fucking Christ, I can tell you. It is fun. It is really fun.
Oh, I can imagine. I wanted a Corvette Stingray at some point. I wanted it like baby blue. I don't know why I want baby blue, but I want the Stingray convertible. I'd love to have one of those one day.
You should do it.
Oh, I eventually will. I'm hoping a little closer towards retirement I'll be able to do it. Once the kids are all grown up.
Yeah, you should do it. It is so much fun, really.
Well, that's all I got for you today, Alex. I appreciate you taking the time to speak with Metal Express Radio.
Thank you.